Hi everyone, this is Yaya, and I'm here with Disguised's new, Korean imported top laner, Srtty. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Yeah. So, for those who haven't been keeping up with LCS lately, you were rumored to be replaced by a Korean import, and Disguise made a Twitter post with you recording a response to that. How did you initially feel about the rumors going around, and did you enjoy recording that response?
I did like recording the response. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
As when I first signed on with DSG, obviously Castle was a very good player, and
Mm-hmm.
um, they knew that it would be a six-man situation over at Lion, so they weren't sure if maybe he would come back after the split, or if he was going to stay there, if they would sign on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
That Dokar wouldn't want to come to DSG because he's pretty adamant about only playing on rosters that are winning a lot. I think he was very clear about that at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they told me when I signed on that it was probably going to be a short thing. They said that it was possible I could have the spot permanently if I. Uh, but obviously, I think it's bad to get your hopes up. So I just wanted to focus on what I could control and assume that like anything could happen really.
Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself staying in Disguise for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I do. They've been pretty clear with me. Nothing is changing in regards to my position in the team until the end of the relegation tournament, as far as I've been told. Um, can't talk about like signing on to next year because obviously with relegation and stuff, there are like
Mm-hmm.
certain regulations around doing a contract that
Yeah.
goes through the relegation period, etc. But I'm here to stay for now.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So speaking of which, a lot of the LCS teams went to Korea for boot camps. Disguise was one of them. Um, so you did a lot of solo queue there. You
Yes, I
even
do.
hit challenger while there. So could you tell us what the Korean solo queue experience felt like for you, and what were some differences from the North American and Oceania servers that you noticed from there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the biggest difference between NA and Korea for me was the ping. At my apartment, I play on 60, which is a lot. I'll press a button and it won't go off, and I'll die, or I won't flash an ability, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Doesn't happen on tournament realm or in scrims, which is very nice, obviously. But being able to practice in a low ping environment was really valuable to me, especially because I consider myself to be a relatively good mechanical player. So I feel like my mechanics matter a lot in regards to knowing what I can and can't do within the game. They're really important to me, and I think that when I played, including scrims, I think 350 games in about 19 days while I was over in Korea. I think I got the highest rank out of any of the boot campers
Mm-hmm.
from any of the teams. So I was pretty happy about that. Green Sulky's fun. The pros were they were good. I didn't get to verse like Keen or Zeus or anything. So most of the people I did verse were like LPL top laners, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have a hard time versus any of them. I versed like Sheer, Birdle, etc., and I felt like it was all pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Something I noticed about the Korean players, especially the academy players who are like challenge over in Korea, is they're really, really aggressive.
Yeah.
And they're very good mechanically, but it's an aggression that isn't sensible, if that makes sense. So if you know that they're just going to play like that and you play in a certain way, they kind of just die.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of easy to get used to at first. It kind of caught me off guard, but then I sort of adapted. Came
Yeah.
a lot easier.
Are they more aggressive in like the laning phase or the team fights, or are they just more aggressive in general?
More aggressive in the lane phase, I'd say, is the main thing. I feel like after 15 minutes, they don't really know what they're doing most of the time. Not
Mm-hmm.
the good players, of course, but like the newer players, I suppose. I think that NA server macro is not any better. I think the macro in both servers is terrible. If anything, in the Korean server, it's nice that if you call to do something, people will buy in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they very much they agree with the sentiment that it's better for everybody to do the same thing, even if it's wrong, and
Yeah.
for everybody to pull in different directions. And it made it
Mm-hmm.
really easy for me to play because if I say to do something, people will listen, and then if I'm right, good things happen. And I like to think in a solo queue environment, I'm right most of the time.
So whenever you like do any objective fights, people will pull up like a lot more willingly.
Yeah, or if I'm pinging that I want to play for a sideline tower. My teammates will do what they have to do in order to play for that. But if I do that in NA, they'll kind of ignore the pings and continue to do what it is they're doing. And usually what they're doing is not something that'll push their game forward in any meaningful way. So the games just, they drag on a long time over in the US.
Yeah. Did you notice any very common, like, champion picks?
Yeah, the Koreans play a lot more earlier, a lot more Yasuo top. The meta is a lot more frequent, especially bot lane. In bot lane, you'll see a ton of engaged supports, a ton of like Camille and Pike and that kind of thing, because that's sort of what the meta is right now. The ADCs will play mages, but then I come back to NA and my support's locking in Sona Zillion. So the game is kind of a bit removed from what it would be in a competitive environment from level 1. Because in Korea, if you have like, let's say, Vayne versus Jace or something, both supports will run top level 1 and try and get an advantage, but in NA, because they're both playing enchanters, nobody does it, and then the game's already kind of a little different from what it would be, just like 30 seconds in.
Do you think that, like, these picks are also heavily influenced by, well, heavily more influenced by the Korean OTPs?
Yeah, I think there are two things that influence Korea's picks. One, Korean League of Legends is kind of like what baseball or NBA would be in America. Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
Most Koreans watch it, and there's a lot of status that comes with being good at the game over there in their society. Because of that, I think that when people see pros playing certain characters, they're like, oh, I want to do this too. I want to emulate this. I want to be like them. And they just start doing that. And it's the same with the one tricks. If you see like IRL King or Puzang and stuff high on the ladder, the other Korean players are like, these guys are really good. I look up to them. I want to do the same thing as them. But in NA, we don't really have that much.
Yeah. Also, speaking of which, like you said, with a lot more of the Camille support picks, Mel Pike combinations.
Yeah.
How have you been feeling about the MSI meta?
Oh, I'm a fan. I love the meta right now. I think it's really good for me. Not necessarily because of the range champions, although that is nice, but just the swaps that are done in League right now are relatively telegraphed, and apart from like overload timers from bot lane, for the most part, as a top laner, it's pretty easy to have an idea for when something is going to happen.
Yeah.
Previously, in the old swap meta, it was really difficult unless there was a very strong line of communication between the top lane and the bot lane, which made it difficult for me back last year. But this year, I think it's a lot more straightforward. My bot lane talks a lot, so I think the meta's really good. I think the way the game's played right now is good for me, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah. How do you think top lane's role has changed throughout this meta?
Top's really selfish compared to what it used to be. Because of how the top lane quest is a compounding thing, where it's a percentage increase, you're rewarded for the more you get, and completing a quest first for top lane can give you just like a level lead for basically the rest of the game if you're not dropping waves. But it's also changed something where you're disincentivized from playing volatile post quest completion, because if you have a lead in top lane, you're going to always have this lead unless you drop some resources, because of the fact that you got your quest first, so you got more, like, the percentage XP first, and kind of built up. And the only way for the enemy to come back is if you die, where the XP that they get from your kill is then amplified by the percentage. So it's a lot more important not to throw now. Yeah. Specifically to the enemy top lane.
So laning and split pushing for top lane is a lot more important now.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time in side lanes. It's important not to be dropping waves, and obviously you want to include yourself in the important fights, but you need to make sure that you put yourself in a position to be in a good spot in the game.
How about other roles?
I think that the way League is being played right now is kind of interesting. I mean, AD carry being dominated by these mage bot laners you can leave alone while people roam, I think is less symptomatic of bot lane and more symptomatic of what's happened in the other roles, where these lane bullies have started to be played top lane a bit more. I think that you're just incentivized to do this, not necessarily because of the ADCs. For jungle, I think it's pretty stock standard. I mean, 80 mid laners are pretty bad right now, so you'll see a lot of 80 junglers, and then you'll see a lot of the control mages like Syndra, Cassiopeia, Orianna in the mid lane. These champions also do quite well with the engaged supports, so...
Yeah. Do you think, I know that patch 26.14 just came out yesterday, 2 days ago, I think.
Yep.
So since I think like they fixed all of Azir's bugs, buffed Corki, and then like nerfed a few other of the, I think some of the mages that were pretty common in MSI. Do you think we're still going to have something like MageBot, or do you think it's going to shift something to less control mage focus?
I am not entirely sure. We haven't been able to scrim on the patch yet
Hmm.
because when we came back from Korea, me, our AD carry, and our jungler all got really sick.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Okay.
mostly better, but my AD and my jungle are still really sick, so
Hmm.
we haven't been able to scrim yet.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who's, I mean, I can read the numbers and stuff, but it's hard for me to visualize things
Hmm.
and really put them into context without experiencing it
Yeah.
firsthand. So it's hard for me to like draw an actual conclusion. I think that one of the big winners of the patch, though, at least for top lane, because I can kind of experience that a bit in solo queue, is Mordekaiser.
Hmm.
I think this champ is the buffs were a bit much. I think if you check on like stat sites and stuff, he has a over a 50% win rate versus every single matchup in the game, which is a bit crazy. I think his
Hmm.
win rate right now is like 54.5% or something.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Hmm. Do you think we're going to see any like more top picks like Swain top, or just yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more of it. I think even in earlier fillers, you're going to see answers to characters that are picked pretty frequently as blinds, which you haven't really seen as much before.
Hmm.
So I think that the more these champions get played, and with pros being given reason to practice other champions, they're finding new answers. So I think that you're going to see a lot more development in the top lane meta as things go on. A lot more Mundo, a lot more Swain, obviously because Zeus is playing it, so everybody else will stop playing it. You know, monkey see,
Hmm.
monkey do. But I can tell you, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna play, but you'll see me picking stuff I've never picked before in comp,
Hmm.
in this upcoming split, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun because I'm pretty sure nobody will know how to deal with it.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. And speaking of which, so okay. So I guess a lot of people would say that there were a lot more upsets this year since
Hmm.
with first stand G2 6-0 being G- NG and BFX, and then this MSI where G2 3-1 and T1, and then
Yep, the
then
BTS, right? What's somebody
Hanwha
BTS?
3-0 like sorry, Lion 3-0 in G2, and then going like
5
2-3
games
against Hanwha.
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um sorry. Do has the Western team's performances given anything for you to look forward to?
Um, I don't know. It's a bit weird. I don't think any of the NA teams are like especially good at the moment. Is I
Mhm.
don't think we're especially good at the moment, but then at the same time we're taking games off them pretty consistently. Like there's no team like last year's FlyQuest, at least from my experience in the time that I've been back in scrims.
Yeah.
Everybody feels like they're beatable, and the weird thing is that even though everybody feels like they're beatable, we're putting up more of a fight versus the East than we did last year. And I don't entirely understand why that is. Um, it doesn't make sense that I feel like we lost our strongest team. We put together a team that's weaker than our old strongest team, and then they're now performing better.
Mhm.
So I don't know if everybody has just gotten worse somehow this year, or if the volatility that's happening in the games because of the role quest and the meta is changing the outcomes of the games. 'Cause the Korean teams especially were really good at making small, consistent leads and playing slow, but right now you'll notice that all the best teams like T1, BLG, HLD are playing very fast.
Mhm.
And I feel like when you're playing so fast, there's a lot more room for individual mechanical ability to shine, and the players aren't punished as hard in their individual 1v1s and lane matchups. So I think that's contributing a lot to what's happened.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a little early to get hopeful about some miraculous Worlds run or something. But I think that if the Eastern teams keep playing like this, it's definitely possible. I think it would be
Mhm.
really cool if it happened.
Yeah. Do you think the faster tempo is due to teams wanting to exploit the crystal overgrowth and role quests? requests, or do you think it's just like um something else?
Um, I think that it just has. I think it has a bit to do with the top end picks that are being played right now, especially in
Hmm.
some of the games. Like,
Yeah.
if you saw what was it, KC versus who they versed in finals, KC DK. They played Vayne versus just on the top. Both supports walked top level one and started laning.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff just makes the game a lot more crazy.
Hmm.
A lot more free time, a lot more things can be done on the map because the support isn't locked down in bot lane.
Hmm.
So you can look for tempo advantages and making fast plays, taking enemy jungle camps, stuff like that. And I
Hmm.
feel like that just makes more things happen. I feel like it mostly has to do with the support situation.
Yeah. Okay. Um. All right. So moving back to, I guess, like NA and maybe just like all the regions as a whole. Um, we had a League Classic show match at the MSI finals, and we're having more League Classic show matches
Yep.
in all the other regions. At least from based off of the MSI finals show match, League Classic seems to be like pretty well received in terms of positive reception, and a lot of people are generally pretty excited to see players from older generations playing again. Do you think sorry, how do you personally feel about these matches?
I didn't play League until Season 8,
Hmm.
so I never played League Classic. I
Hmm.
don't really know much about it.
Yeah.
I'm not watching the matches because I just don't have interest in it, right? It's from a time before me, before I
Hmm.
started playing the game,
Okay.
and I don't feel like it has, like, the gameplay has any relevancy to my current pro stuff.
Hmm.
I don't feel like I'm gonna learn anything meaningful from it, so
Hmm.
I think that, nostalgia fuel is kind of encouraging this, positive reception, and I think that it's going to be like a short fad. I don't think it's going to be something that sticks around in any meaningful way. I think
Hmm.
it's a nice thing that they've done, and I think that it will be kind of like Warcraft 3, where people revisit it and play it with their friends.
Hmm.
But I don't think it's going to be any kind of like massive sensation or anything. I could be wrong, of course. Like again, I wasn't around for it, right? So
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm
Also
I'm
wasn't around,
biased in
so
my perspective, but
yeah.
I can't imagine outside of maybe like events and stuff. It's really um that much of a thing.
Hmm. Do you think this could at least like convince like some of the older LCS fans to come back to the scene for a little
Yes,
bit?
I do actually. That's a good point. I think that the current LCS product is really good. I think the that Riot has done a good job this year of making the broadcast very interesting.
Hmm.
And I think the issue is that if you look at the viewership over time, there's a giant drop of like 100,000 concurrent
Yeah.
on LTA, right? When
Hmm.
LTA got announced,
Yeah.
and recapturing those eyes, even if momentarily, I think will have a very high conversion rate into viewership.
Hmm.
So I think that's good in that way.
Yeah.
It's very good in that way.
Yeah. And I guess just switch to more personal matters. A month ago, you had an interview with me here, and you mentioned that you were attending college and you were applying for accounting at USC.
Yes.
And how's that been going?
Um, well, because I'm going to be playing full time,
Hmm.
it's kind of hard to take classes.
Yeah.
Um, at most, I can do one class at a time,
Hmm.
and then I can do all my work on off day, which is usually the day after the match.
Hmm.
But for the most part, school, while I'm actively competing, is more of a thing with a back burner. It's something that I can kind of chip away at, maybe, but it's not something I can make meaningful progress towards while competing.
Yeah. Mm. Okay. Yeah, I'm just very curious because I'm also like entering college this year,
Okay.
so I'm quite curious as to how you're planning on managing classes, and also since you're now playing in the LCS full time.
Yeah. So what I would do before, and last split, I was taking classes while I was competing.
Hmm.
And I just do what I said. I'd cram them on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Just doing like GEs and stuff. GE classes, especially the online ones. As long as the credits transfer like 1 to 1 to the
Hmm.
school that you want to go to.
Yeah.
So I was accepted at UCI, and I was at UCI for a while, but I'm out of state technically. Family tax reasons back in Australia. Even though I'm a California resident, it's like
Hmm.
weird. But they wanted to charge me like 18,000 a quarter after scholarship. which
okay.
is a little much.
Mm,
So I did one quarter there, and then I started taking classes at SMC because SMC acts as like a feeder school into the UCs and USC as well. And then I just spoke to counselors and advisors. They advised me on which classes will contribute towards the credit requirements for my courses at USC,
mhm,
and do that. Make sure you maintain a 4.0. Transferring is a lot easier than getting in, like in your first year to these big schools, right?
mhm,
So as long as your grades are good, and USC specifically is a bit finicky, where they care a lot about you being a full-time student.
mhm,
That's why I'm thinking maybe for this upcoming split, I'm not going to take any classes at all,
yeah.
because it's better for me to have a gap and then take a full 12 credits
Mhm.
than for me to just do 4 8 credits because the transfer office really doesn't like that.
Yeah, might be a bit awkward in like the fall if
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Hmm. Yeah. And speaking of that, since LCS summer is starting soon, and also like um lock got unlocked for pro play.
Yep, broken character.
Eh, yeah, and we should also be getting roadshows for LCS summer, right?
I hope so. I mean, road shows would be fun. I would love to do that. I
Yeah,
mean, I,
I think
I think.
MSI announced that at the beginning of the year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm
But
excited for that then. I love any kind of
mhm,
like this sort of stuff or like fan interaction and all of that. I feel like it's a big part of what we do because like we're competitors, but like at the same time we're also like part of an entertainment product.
mhm,
And I think it's important that you enjoy both parts of it and not just one.
mhm, yeah. If we have quite a few road shows, are there any like cities you would be like pretty excited to go to?
I'm pretty well traveled. I've been to almost everywhere in the world,
Mm,
um, countries, and I've been all over America, to most of the important cities.
mm,
So, maybe I enjoy going back to New York
yeah.
because I have an autoimmune disorder, celiac disease,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of delicious food that I can eat there. So I'm very
Mm,
happy
yeah.
about that. But it's mostly like anywhere that I'd want to go is just for the food.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, any specific food that you're looking forward to eating anytime
Um,
soon?
if I can get some good gluten-free dumplings, like
Mm-hmm.
soup dumplings, pot stickers, that kind of thing,
Oh
they
yeah,
were my
those are good.
favorite food ever before I got diagnosed.
Yeah.
And there's the only kind of thing that I can get in LA is like the shrimp dumplings,
Oh yeah.
but they have a bit different of a wrapper to like pork
Mm-hmm.
and chicken ones, and I like meat a lot more than I like shrimp. So
Yeah. The dim sum kind or a different kind?
like I think it's called hogao.
Oh yeah, yeah, those.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan
Mm,
of those.
hmm. Yeah. Also, so any hopes for the season?
Um, I mean, for hopes, I'm mostly focused on my individual performance. I think
Mm-hmm.
that last split individually, at least from a statistical standpoint, I was doing pretty well. I mean, I think I had like 1,100 gold diff at 15. The second highest in the league was like 500.
Yeah.
I was averaging like a 25 CSD, but obviously that's versus like the lower tier players like Photon and Fudge. No disrespect to them, but they're just on like the worst teams, and traditionally those players are, in my opinion, a bit weaker in lane. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that my stats were definitely inflated
Oh
quite a
yeah.
lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I just hope that I can have a strong individual showing because I think that I did have a strong individual showing on Lion, but I think I had a very weak individual showing on Dignitas,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was more so due to the environment that I was in rather than my individual skill,
Yeah.
which is why I showed so much stronger on Lion. But I
Mm-hmm.
also felt like it left me with a bit of a stigma from that my time on Dig,
Yeah.
which I would definitely like to get rid of. And I feel like every game that I played since I left Dig, I've shown that I belong in the league
Mm-hmm.
and that I am one of the better top laners in it. So just want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Make a case for myself.
Mm-hmm. If the skies were to say like qualify for worlds this year, what would you like to achieve there?
I mean, okay, I'm gonna say like win, obviously. Like you don't go to a tournament if you don't want to win. Is winning realistic for DSG currently? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if we can be competitive. Like, I'm gonna set a very, very low, very realistic goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in life, it's important to set realistic goals that you can hit and then continue working up from there instead of shooting for the moon.
Yeah.
But if we can have a competitive best of 5,
Mm-hmm.
where we maybe edge out a win versus one of the Eastern teams,
Yeah.
I would feel like, given how the team was when I first joined,
Mm-hmm.
we have succeeded.
Yeah.
And we've gotten pretty far. And I really, really want my teammates to feel what it's like to win, you know?
Yeah.
It feels pretty good when you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great.
It would.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for thank you for coming on to here. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Mm-hmm.